Hello everyone. In the previous episodes, we discussed why to learn and how to use data storytelling skills in medical affairs and healthcare. And we shared multiple examples. Today, I wanted to approach data storytelling in healthcare from a different angle. I want to start with the link between data storytelling and academic writing, academic medical writing. And you might be wondering, is there any link? The truth is yes. Academic writing and data storytelling are not as different as they seem. They share the same core principles: structure, clarity, evidence, and purpose. Lies only in how we deliver the message, not what the message is. Think about how we write a scientific manuscript or an abstract. We start with the introduction, where we set the context and we explain why this study was needed. This is the story. Then we present the methods and the results, and that's our data. Finally, in any manuscript, we interpret the findings in the discussion and the conclusion sections, where we explain what these results mean for patients, or for clinical practice, or even for future research objectives. Doesn't that sound exactly like the structure of data storytelling? A clear beginning, a meaningful middle, and a powerful ending that connects data to real-world impact and inspires action. The main difference is in the audience and the tone. In academic writing, we communicate to scientists and researchers, people who already speak the same language of data like us. But in data storytelling, we go a step further. We translate the same structured narrative into a message that can also reach non-medical audience, business leaders, policy makers, or even the general public, without, of course, losing the scientific integrity. In both cases, our goal is the same: to move from data to meaning, from numbers to understanding, and ultimately from information to action. So when you think about this link, you will find that every abstract or manuscript you have ever written was in fact a form of data storytelling. You have just been doing it in the scientific tone. Now, as the role of medical affairs continue to evolve, our mission is to take those same academic writing skills, that same discipline and structure, to elevate them into stories that resonate across the business and healthcare landscapes. Now let me share with you a story. An interesting one, I promise. As a leader of a large medical organization, I receive hundreds of emails every day from colleagues across different teams, including my team. Some are short updates, others are detailed reports, and many highlight remarkable achievements. Despite my busy schedule and my naturally short attention span, I make every effort to respond to as many messages as possible. I truly believe that every colleague deserves to feel heard. Yet, I keep receiving the same feedback from my leadership team. You reply to some emails, but not to others, even when the others share more strategic updates. That feedback kept coming to me, and it makes me pause and reflect. Why do I respond immediately to certain messages while others don't catch the same attention, my attention, even when they are equally important? When I look deeper, I realize there are three main reasons. One, the alignment with the overall strategy. The emails that grabbed me most clearly connected their message to the broader organizational goals. Two, understanding the business acumen. Those emails that attracts my attention, they don't just share the data, they don't share the medical data, they show what it means for patients, for access, or for the business impact. The third reason is the way the message itself is written. Some colleagues manage to move me emotionally somehow and inspire me to reply immediately because of the way they communicate and the words they use and the story they tell in their emails. That's when it becomes clear to me that this is what data storytelling looks like in the real life in action. It's the ability to take facts and numbers and turn them into meaning, to connect the logic with emotion, and to make people not only understand the message, but feel it and then respond to it. And this is the real power of communication in medical affairs, when data doesn't just inform, but inspires action. Now, here is what we are going to do in the next few minutes. I will share with you one of those typical emails, the kind that shares updates or achievements in the traditional way. Then, together, we will transform the same email using data storytelling skills and the SPAR approach. And then let's see how simple shift in the structure and language can completely change the impact of the message. Okay? Let's start with the usual version, the traditional way many of us actually use in writing their emails on daily basis. It starts with the subject. And here the subject says, update on pre-launch advisory board meeting. Before going into the message itself, for me, frankly speaking, I will not prioritize this email with this subject. It's another update for another advisory board from a colleague. It doesn't inspire me to open it even. Okay, but anyway, let's go ahead and see the message how it is written. Dear colleagues, we successfully conducted a pre-launch advisory board on September 25th with 10 leading oncologists, the best oncologists in the world from across the region. The objective of the meeting was to gather insights on unmet needs, positioning, and patient profiles of our upcoming launch. How many times I read this in an email. Experts highlighted the importance of early intervention and acknowledged our strong clinical data versus the current standard of care. We will share the insights report next week. Overall, the session was well received. Participants expressed high engagement. Best regards, Medical Affairs team. Though obviously I don't like the way it was written, this message, but in fact, this message is fine, factual, structured, and professional. But the problem with this message is that it is purely informational and dry. Now, let's apply the SPAR model and turn it into a data storytelling narrative. The message will start again with the subject, but this time the subject is different. 10 oncologists, one vision, shaping the future of cancer care. I prefer this subject line by far more than the traditional message. It tells me clearly that this email contains something that is important to me, something that is important to the organization. It is aligned with what we need to do in the environment of cancer care. 10 oncologists, one vision, shaping the future of cancer care. Let's go further into the message and see what we can write. Last week, we gathered 10 of the region's most respected oncologists for our pre-launch advisory board. Our aim was to get insights about the current treatment landscape and where our upcoming innovation could make the greatest patient impact. This is the situation. This is the situation. It is very simple and very clear. Now we need to move and provide the updates or the insights that we gathered in the advisory report, and we will do this in the problem section of the SPAR story. And so we can write, for example, despite remarkable progress in oncology, experts shared that many patients are still diagnosed late or lose access to effective treatment options too early. They expressed concern about the gap between innovation and real-world access, which remains wide. So we listed most of the important insights that we gathered during the advisory board. Then comes the action, where we can show what was done to tackle the problem and maybe provide solutions. So in the action section of the SPAR story, we can write that during the session, we presented our clinical data showing a meaningful survival advantage versus the standard of care. Also, we shared the diagnostic tools and testing kits to be used in the future post-launch to ensure early diagnosis. And we also proposed the multiple cost-effectiveness models to get the insights about future collaborative research. As discussions unfolded, the colleague can write, oncologists described the whole plan of the launch as a potential game changer, emphasizing the importance of communicating the same to regulators and policymakers. Notice here that in the action sections, we listed all the actions that were taken to address the insights gathered in the previous section of the SPAR. And now it's time to write the results. The results sections, and remember, as we are talking about an advisory board, the results will always be about the insights and what will happen next with those insights that we gathered in the advisory board. When we write the results, it will be the place where we add the value and meaning to the actions. By the end of the meeting, for example, a clear message emerged. This innovation may represent more than just another new effective treatment. It has the opportunity to help patients live longer, full lives. These insights are now shaping our pre-launch strategy. We are telling the leaders what we are doing with the insights. These insights are now shaping our pre-launch strategy, ensuring our communication aligns with both the scientific integrity and patient impact. Do you see the difference? So look at what happened here once again. We didn't change the data. We changed the story flow. The SPAR structure gave the message a narrative. Situation set the context. The problem highlighted the unmet need or raised the tension. Action described what was done and how we responded. And the results highlighted the impact or outcome. It's the same approach we use in good academic medical writing, by the way. But here we are making it more human, more emotional, if I can say so, more engaging and easier for business leaders, cross-functional teams to connect with. So the objective here that whenever you write your next update email or achievement email, or even a scientific summary, ask yourself, can I turn this into a SPAR story? And remember that in medical affairs, the best communicators are not those who write a lot or speak the longest. They are the medical affairs colleagues who can really transform the science into a story that drives understanding and, most importantly, action. I will leave you now here, and in the next episode I will try to challenge myself and bring one or two examples on how to use data storytelling skills to mobilize and attract resources. In other words, how can we as medical colleagues communicate to commercial leaders, for example, in order to influence their decision so they can allocate more budget for a medical project rather than a commercial one? I think you know now the drill. Unless you mobilize their feelings, this will not happen. So next time we will discuss this in depth. Thank you very much and see you soon.